Hello and welcome back, PlayBASIC coders. Today's blog we're going to be talking about the final stage of putting together PlayBASIC 165, which means building the documentation, which has meant building a few extra tools in the process, as always. I'll give you an example of this. I needed a tool that would run through a PlayBASIC source and grab the function names and output them as separate commands for the help builder. So here I've got some test ones there, I'm just using those. I can just run it. So it's been through the file, it grabs the function declaration and the closing to get the returns, and then constructs a thing to make a help file page. Like a help file page, just think of it like a really simple key and value pair. That's all it really is. There's like keys and there's values. So the keys are things about the help file. This is the basic structure of a help file. So it's like just a text file with key and value pairs. Then the value probably has some encoding in it, but generally it's probably easy to understand. So in this template that I've already created, just called test command, the command name set to test command, there's no description of it. But we've got a list of parameters up here. We've got our standard sort of document. As you can see there, all the square bracket stuff that I keep talking about, the docs use. So it's not HTML, it's just square bracket markdown. A few flags. It should have a thing there for document type to tell the builder that this is a command page. Oh well. We'll add that later. But here are the parameters you can see for the function in this test function world are divided by the pipe character. So we have this kind of format. We have this and then equals the description of this. Separator. This equals the description of this. That's how the parameters are worked. So they're all in one line. The builder just phrases them out, inserts them where it needs to. There's a little window to edit those things as well in the tool. But this is very helpful if I want to import more libraries into it, which is what I want to do, of course. Working out which ones I want to include, that's another conversation altogether. But at least there's something now that exists that does this very thing. If you're wondering how that works, by the way, the view thing there is a little console thing over here. A couple of functions. We just have an array that holds all the text data. Each blob of text has X rows in it. In this case it's 64. And when we print to it, we just add, we work out which block to add the row to and render that. To draw it, we work backwards. We just go, where's the last used block? And then we work back through the last used string. And that's it. You know, what? I don't know, 80 lines of code. I use this kind of thing quite a lot if I want to have a bunch of information displayed out to a window that maybe I want to put into a GUI context later on. You know, because if you're putting things as, you know, into the debugger all the time, even when I do that, like I would often actually have in this function here, I would often have something like, I would have this, print s. So I'm storing this thing in my structure and I'm dumping it out to the debugger. That's not really the point of the whole example. What I've been doing though is working on documentation, work on the final build release stuff of 165. We'll flip over to the doc builder. Alright, tools, build documentation. Now it's not pretty. It never has been pretty. I've said this before. This has a number of new additions that are added to it. One of them is that you can actually just kind of go, hello world. you couldn't do this before. You couldn't actually select a bit of text and hit like add a link to it. You had to type the link around it. So for those kind of ease of use things, it's better. The other one that was problematic was adding a command set. You couldn't do this from the IDE. So you can pick a command set and it gives you information about what it is. This is the name of it, of course, is the description. These are the subcategories. Same thing, comma delimited all the way through. You can set the class, which is it a command set or a library? So where does it appear within the documentation block? Does it appear in the main command sets or down below where the libraries are? Just cancel that. This is different. I forget how many commands have been added. Most of the time lately it's been making all of this work. I keep finding more problems in the old builder. Like there's one here. See how this block of this should be a comment, but it's not commented in the phraser for the output. So that needs to be fixed. Should be pretty easy to do that, but it's just another painful thing that you have to go back and update. Up here, these comments here work perfectly fine. They're okay. But these block comments, they don't. The build process is pretty much the same. You just run down to build manual. I can selectively pick to update a part of the manual. That's pretty risky because what you get is some of the links between commands get broken if you don't update them all at the same time. So it's a bit of risk involved in that, but the build time is much the same. You know, it's another minute to build the whole manual, which is not too bad given that there's, I don't know how many commands are on this thing at the moment, pages. So there's 1351 pages and 41 command sets. Yeah, you just hit view, to view it, it renders it down into HTML. So things like the parameters we were just talking about before, it's a simple window, you know, this equals, this is whatever. That's your layout, and it automatically gets added into the rest of this. So it'll appear in here, in our example at the top there as well. I think syntactically, this needs, the actual HTML on the output needs to be improved here. It hasn't been touched since it was created. I don't know when it was built now. I didn't build it. It was, I think it was Laz or Mop, one of those two, going way back 20 odd years ago. So I think we can update those things there and get them to be slightly better than they are now. But we've got to be within the constraints of what the HTML view control can actually render, so we can't get too exotic, I don't think. Anyway, so we're building documentation. The tool sets have been updated. Like most things, I'd hoped to get this thing done by the end of the month. I really thought this would be over and finished. I could be into the next part, but it won't be. There's no way. So the process is for building a release. Build the compiler, we build the runtime releases, then we update the documentation, and then build the bundle for the whole thing, which is what the installer is really. It's just this big bundle of whatever state things are in at that day. That's what it is. It's like a capture of the release at this point. Yeah, so there's no real chance of doing that anytime the next day or so. Like I'm working this full time these days, which is horrifying to think, but it's amazing how much time things actually do take. Anyway, that'll do us for today. So the process normally is building like when we finish the compiler work, we build the runtimes for it. Then once we have the runtimes, we update the documentation. Once we have the updates of documentation, then we just bundle it all together in a big installer, and that becomes the release build. It's like it's just a capture of the state of the thing at a particular date. That's all it is, you know. All right, I'll leave you to it. Bye. So it renders it out as HTML. It's just compartmentalized or a chunk sort of template generator. Just fits the text into the sections, dumps them out. We've got a little bit of markup, which you can see in there, bold statements, indentation, command there. I've got a picture as well, which is something that's easier to work with now than what the old version was. There's a fair bit of stuff in this. What I've always wanted to do actually is take this a step further and have, because in the help file Fraser, it has access to not just the keywords, but the keywords and parameter types for that. So you could actually have like a full hover here. I'm not sure whether that would work or not from the IDE. Ideally, you know, be able to select a command and then jump to it from where you are would be even better. Yeah, it's got a fantasy land, isn't it? You need users for that stuff. We don't have any users, so it defeats the purpose. One difference about this stuff is that the web version of the docs is really just a post-processed version of the created docs for the that come with the product in the IDE. They're just HTML. There's nothing special about it. They're just HTML files. That's all they are. So the version online takes those HTML files and does a pre-processing and post-processing of those documents and inserts things and removes things in some places as well. One that comes to mind is this, in the online version of this page, that's replaced with a video of this actual demo. We can't do that in the IDE version. Or well, it might work in more modern versions, but the builder itself has no provision for adding those features. So we couldn't have like a YouTube block in here and put the video ID. I'd be cautious about doing that stuff too, because really, you know, videos, if they're not produced by yourself, then you don't know how long they're going to stay online for. So there's nothing worse than having a link to a video that's been deleted, or you know, the basic structure of the things is as it appears in the IDE. I might have a bit of a go at cleaning up some of the styling, see if we can improve that, even just the layout a little bit, without actually having to do. Because the builder will is like cutting and pasting the pieces together. It doesn't understand the HTML at all. It just kind of pieces the parts together. So provided that we can we can update those fragments and have it should just piece them together and create the new layout if possible. I don't know. It's incredible how much time this stuff actually consumes. Really, it's crazy. If I've had time, I would port this, I would build a version of this into the website. That's what I would do. Yeah. And I would say, here you go. Might give a few people access to it and go, here you go, you can update the documentation, go for your life. Or have allow posting underneath the documentation. So you could post your own examples, your own extensions to those commands, your own variations of functions or whatever to help other people. And that would benefit the community immensely. If we had a community, we don't. Yep, we don't. There's been a lot of people signing up in social media recently, which is good. But so everyone's kind of sitting on their hands going, well, when's the next one coming out? Well, if we don't get this to a point where it's actually complete, probably never. That's just the reality of it. It's too expensive to build this stuff. It's very expensive to have a website these days. Building software has become very expensive to build for people. Like it's building free software consumes your entire life. I would love to say that at some point we'll actually make a profit. That would be nice, you know. If I told you how much this stuff cost, you would not believe me. But anyway, well, we've been doing it for, how long? I guess the site started early 2004, 2005, the releases were, I guess, somewhere in there. It would just be nice to get to a point where it can hold its own. I mean, command set wise and language wise, there's always going to be a list of things on my mind that would be, hey, it'd be great if this thing was added to it. That'd be fantastic, you know. It would solve some problem in some area. It gets to a point where there's so much of that base functionality that people have no idea where to start. And that kind of defeats the purpose of what it was meant to do in the first place. A command set was built around the idea of, hey, here's some functionality that you can make some 2D games with and some creative kind of projects with, without going down the road of here's 20,000 commands, you know. Oh, so much to do. Anyway, so we're in documentation mode, improving the tool sets, hopefully improving the documentation a little bit, and trying to update the docs as much as I can to be line up against the 1.6.5 generation. I'll leave you to it. Stay cool and I'll see you next time. Bye.